Alright guys, Tarkov is supposed to wipe on the 12th in 4 days now. I figured I would go through and make a couple early wipe guides, specifically this one on barters and how they can help you save money and potentially get around a few quests. So barters are super slept on in this game. There's a few, obviously, keep in mind, that could be added that aren't in the game right now because they could add new items or whatever else with the update. But this should give you guys a general idea of a few that I think are super underrated and can help you guys out in a way. Alright guys, starting off with Therapist 1, we have the classic Salewa for the paid trade. It's 1 paid for 1 Salewa. These spawn a ton in like tech crates and stuff like that. Super easy to find early wipe. I think they spawn pretty often. Salewa is a lot better than what they normally give you for the AI2s and all that. So throwing one of the Salewas in your alpha or gamma is definitely the way to go. As far as other stuff for level 1, I don't think any of this is really worth it. So we will go on to level 2. Right off the bat here, the med case trade really depends on the market. Obviously, this isn't something that's for a quest or anything, but it could help you if you're having trouble with storage. If you're on a standard account per se, you could save a Vaseline when it's 1 use. You could do a syringe and a blood set, 7 of each of those. They spawn pretty frequently in med cases. If you're looking for like Salewas or something, you maybe just pick those up on the way. If you have them laying around, this could be decent. Not my favorite, but really just depends on the market. And then IFAK, I don't personally use the IFAK very often, but you can get 5 per reset with 1 sodium. Sodium spawns, I think, more frequently than IFAKs do, in my experience. So, but these could be okay. Definitely not like S tier, but they are worth keeping in mind. I don't personally like any of these really. Level 3, I think they're pretty junk. Like item cases are kind of played out when you can just get a thick case at a later level. And especially at this level, I don't see anybody shelling out that many dog tags or that many O-scopes. Seems kind of ridiculous. So moving on straight to level 4, you have right off rip, the ibuprofen barter is super underrated. 1 blood set, 3 piles of meds, which are usually fairly cheap, even early wipe. For a full ibuprofen is like super great. And then you can actually use this ibuprofen once you get to 1 use left on. You can save it and you can trade this for a thick case, dude. You can get all this stuff not found in raid, or if you die with it, whatever. And then you have the thick case trade as well. And then the money case is again something that really depends on the market. 5 gold chains, 2 rollers, and 2 skulls. Obviously, once you're max therapist, you're pretty late wipe anyways. But definitely something that could save you money regardless to keep in mind. But it really all depends on the market. The market is super weird in how it plays. It just kind of like cycles through things costing very, very, very different amounts throughout the wipe. It really just depends what quest people are on and things like that. Alright, moving on to PRAPOR. Right off the bat, we have the F1 grenade for the ES lamp. It's 1 for 1. You get 3 per reset. Grenades could be super overpowered. Obviously, we haven't played with inertia yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be harder to get away from grenades, especially if you're trapped in a room. Grenades can be super overpowered this wipe, just calling that now. So definitely invest in some grenades if you can find some ES lamps, which seem to spawn pretty much everywhere throughout the wipe. So, and then even then from that point, you could do the AKM 30 rounder mag if you find pliers. If you like to run the AKM, this could be a go-to. I know it's hard to find mags early wipe. So that's about it for level 1 for me. And then I go level 2. We have fuel. It could be super expensive. Just something to keep in mind. There's been events in the past where fuel is like really expensive early wipe. So it's just something to keep in mind. Next, you have the SV98. You can do 5 Apollo SIGs and 3 of the Malboros, they call them. Because of the fact that you need this SV98 for a few quests. Obviously not to use the SV98, but you need it for a few quests to stash or like bring with you. And people like to tax on the flea market because people don't know about the barter trades. So I would definitely keep the SV98 and the fuel in mind at level 2. I mean, you could do the two ES lamps for 1 RGD, but at that point, why not just get the 1 F1 for 1 ES lamp? It's just half the price, right? So level 3 proper, we have the 30 round Val mag for the 4 pliers. Definitely a good budget option to get these mags, and the mags are the most expensive part about the Val. Especially if you're running an ammo like SP5 or SP6, which is budget, you could do this trade, save a ton of money. And then we also have the where's that? The BS ammo. You got BS ammo, 2 hot rods, 2 of the Malboros for 30 rounds. If you like to run 545, it could be decent. I mean, the price of like the highest pen ammos isn't super expensive typically early wipe, but I mean, just know it exists, I guess, and keep it in the back of your mind if you run this ammo a lot. Then level 4, of course, we have the raid bag for 2 military cables. That is like the classic proper barter trade. Last wipe, this is pretty much, or this current wipe, I guess. This is pretty much all I have even used PRAPOR for, was just getting this raid bag in terms of barters. And then also Val BP ammo, you can do 1 strike for 8 rounds. You can get 10 per reset, so you get 80 rounds per reset with strike sigs. Strike sigs spawn very commonly. I don't really like to use the BP ammo on the Val because of the recoil. I made a video about that a few weeks ago. But I mean, to each their own. If you like this ammo, it's there for you. Obviously not a super early wipe concern, but it exists, you know. Alright, Skier doesn't have very many barter trades. Level 1 and 2, personally, I think suck. I don't like any of these. Moving on, though, starting with level 3, you can get the skeletonized, the Tactical Dynamics Skeletonized Pistol Grip AR-15. It's for Gunsmith Part 13. 1 base, 3 chainlets, pretty easy to find, and you can avoid paying a couple $100,000 on the flea market for one of these. You can get the Voodoo Scope as well for 2 GPX. This is my favorite scope in the game, and a lot of others as well. As well as level 4 here, we have the SRD Suppressor for 1 Raven, which is great. I mean, SRD Suppressor is probably... I mean, as of right now, this could change with the wipe, but right now it's like top 3 best suppressors in the game, I think, for the guns it goes on. And then the DVL is like an unmatched barter trade, honestly. Even right now, late wipe, with everything being so expensive, the power filter is 30-something K, which is pretty much like on par with usual, for a full modded silent DVL with a mag and the ergo bipod and everything. So super good, super good. This weapon case trade can be the best depending. There's a couple traders that do weapon case trades that can be the best depending on the market. So there's something to look at before you buy a weapons case, but I wouldn't say it's like S tier or anything. Alright, Peacekeeper is another one that doesn't really have the best barters, in my opinion. You could do the MBSS. If for some reason you're picking up hard drives, like, go for it, I guess, if you need a bag. Level 2, you have the 5.7 for, like, reserve mains that die with MGTs in their container. Might as well put it to use, get a 5.7, but honestly, 5.7 is usually cheaper on the flea, so definitely something to look at the market first. You could probably get a 5.7 for, like, 20-something K, especially early wipe. You do the beta container trade if you have alpha. It's going to be super expensive, probably not worth it. Probably just wait for the Punisher series to get the Epsilon from PRAPOR, but it's definitely an option for you there. Level 3, we have the 60 round mags. You can do a filter or 2 green batteries for a PMag, or 2 circuit boards and a GM count, which are actually probably going to be the cheaper option for the Stanag. You can do 5 of those per reset as well, so that will definitely hook it up. And then level 4, we have... Don't use the GL, come on. Level 4, we have the MP7, maybe. It's another thing you want to look at the flea market for. 1 GPX, 1 power bank. Could be cheaper, could be about the same, could be not worth it. I don't really mess with any of these other ones, because this top mod build usually isn't the best. I mean, it's got 60 recoil, so... At level 4 Peacekeeper, you're probably looking at something better than that. But there's just a few to keep in mind with Peacekeeper. Alright, unlike Skier and Peacekeeper, Mechanic actually has some really amazing barter trades, especially at level 1. You have the M-Lock 2.5 inch and the 4.1 inch rail. 2.5 inch is with the measuring tape and the 4.1 with the USB. These will hold you guys back from being able to put grips or whatever, lasers on your guns, as well as on a few gunsmith quests. And people will sell these on the fleet for like 100k. So if you find any of these items, like a USB or a measuring tape, which are like 2 of the most common items in the game, you can save yourself a ton of money. As well as with the MP133. This is the almost the exact shotgun. You have to change like 1 or 2 things on it, I think, now for gunsmith. But it's 2-plier elite, which are pretty common, as well as a screwdriver. And then a tool set if you need it for a like if you're on like a hardcore account or something, I guess. For the quest where you have to go to factory, I can't remember what it's called, and like repair with the tool sets. This isn't horrible, as well as the option to get an ammo case at level 1, which is pretty nice. 2 thermite and 2 gunpowder for that. Now level 2, you have a silencer co for gunsmith. It's 4 ram for that, right? The level 2's got a ton, by the way. You have a Vector 50 round mag or Glock mag for 2 pox of ram. A Vogue for 1 fuse is pretty solid, because Vogues, like I said, could be super overpowered, especially with inertia taking a long time to speed up and get away from nades and stuff. The Val tube, this is actually the only way to get the Val tube besides found in raid. Even late wipe, this sells for over 100k just because people don't know about the trade, I don't think. So it's 1 milk for that, or maybe they have like a preset and like auto buys it or something. 1 milk for that, And then the GL Shock, I think you need or can use this for some gunsmith. So it's pretty nice to be able to do one WD-40 for that at level 2. And then there's tons of guns down here. These SKS builds actually aren't that bad for that level. But, I mean, all these depend on the market. I don't think they're super worth it or, like, super amazing builds. Level 3, you have the black card, which is pretty much always sold out, for 4 tank batteries, 6 Cyclone, and an RFID. Black Room, as of now, is, like, the best key card on labs, in my opinion, in terms of, like, actual profit for how much this stuff, or even buying it on the flea market, costs. A labs card for 10 box ram and 4 kek tape, which is not bad. And then just another weapon case trade. Just balance all this stuff out in the market and see, because motors, wires, and stuff, sometimes they get really expensive early wave due to hideout upgrading and stuff. Level 4, though, we have another labs card, 7 GP coins, which is, I think, better than the last one, that given like the current market right now. The M1A 50 round mag for 1 GM count is a really good price. And then you have the option to get a thick weapons case. This one's super expensive, but it's nice to have the option at level 4, you know? Alright, RAGMAN has a bunch of really good ones, especially level 4. But starting off, we have the 6v47 helmet for 2 bleach. You need this, as well as a pack of armor, which you can get for 3 half masks for a couple quests. There's one where you have to like wear this stuff to factory and get a bunch of kills, so... PvPing, you guys will probably die a lot and need to do these trades or buy them, and then it'll probably be cheaper to do the trades. Level 2, you can start buying these actually at level 2, I think, yep. And then you can insure them, and if they start coming back like super messed up, people aren't taking them, you can trade in 4 broken ones for a brand new one, as well as a tri-zip for 4 ES lamps. So this is like the first chance you really get at getting like a decent sized bag. Definitely not a horrible trade, especially early wipe. Level 3, then we have the TV110 I like a lot for 4 bleach and 2 shampoo. Super underrated armor, especially for around the level you'd be with level 3 RAGMAN. As well as the M1 rig, which is very similar, for 4 Aquamari and 1 Kvass. Definitely 2 of the best things you're getting at level 3 RAGMAN. Level 4 is when all the good stuff really comes in. You have an Alton shield for 4 plex, you have a wrist T shield for 4 plex, and a bolt. And then the wrist T helmet itself, 5 Aramid, 6 plex, and then 1 Cordura. The ACPC rig is my personal favorite barter trade from RAGMAN in general. 3 Cordura, 1 whiskey, and 3 ripstop for this armor. It's level 5. It has a ton of space. Probably my favorite armor in the game all around, just because it holds the grizzly. It's got all this room. Really good. Cooperates with pretty much any mag that you want to use. There's a slick trade, which is pretty decent depending on the price of this stuff. A lot of this stuff really depends on the market, but it's all just these are the only ones that I think are really even of use, you know what I mean? And then you have the beta bag is really good for 6 bulbs. 1 pro kill for an attack 2 is great. I still use this trade to this day. And then depending on the market, the blackjack could be good for the 8 bleach and the 2 Cordura as well. Alright, as far as Jaeger goes, you have the TAC 30. If you guys like the TAC 30, it's okay. For 2 vodka. I feel like you're more likely to find 2 vodka early wipe than you are 1 TAC 30. As well as 1 toilet paper and 1 weapon safe key for the 30mm mount that you need for the TAC 30. So this is stuff to keep in mind. It's okay. Like, you know what I mean? If you like to use it, just know it's there. The SPRM actually you need for a gunsmith, I believe. It's 1 match and 1 Apollo. Not bad. Then moving on to level 2, you have the serve kit for 1 vase. If you need a serve kit and you're in a pinch, you have a vase. Go ahead. The attacker scope, the Night Force attacker scope, or whatever. The one that you need for gunsmith, basically. You need it for gunsmith 5 and 15. 1 power bank, 2 magnet, and 1 UV lamp. Usually sells for hundreds of thousands on the flea, especially around this point when you need it for gunsmith. So, definitely do this trade instead of buying it. You don't want to waste all that money. If the grizzly for the wooden clock, it's really just depends if the grizzly is expensive or if you have like a wooden clock not found in raid. Anything like that, man, just might as well keep it in mind. And then the reap mount, if you guys like to run thermal or you need it for a gunsmith, the 4D batteries for one of the reap mounts, these sell for so much on the flea just because people don't know about the barter for it. Level 3 Jaeger, we have a Red Rebel, and then the Customs Marked Room key. If Customs Marked Room keys are super expensive, because they usually tend to be early wipe, like 500k plus. If you find all these or get these cheaper, because people don't really sell the reserve keys for as much, I don't think. Not horrible. And then you have the sick case, weapons case, and the thick weapons case here. Trades with Jaeger at level 4. Sick case is actually the only way in the game to get a sick case right here. This weapon case usually isn't the best trade, and then the thick weapons case kind of sucks. But you do have the option at those levels. This key as well. This key is very expensive, but I don't think it'll really ever be as expensive as all these items because they do better things like the green battery getting you the Tetris trade or the 60 round mags, you know, things like that. So I think the rest of these kind of suck. These are my favorite things in the game as far as barters go. So let me know if you guys think that I missed a barter, if I messed up, I completely whiffed. Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what other guides you guys want to see before the wipe comes out. I know that a lot of you want gun builds, so we're coming out with gun builds soon, and maybe some loot routes or something. So let me know what you guys think.